Hello and welcome to Obla Air, a Learn English radio series from the British Council. I'm Joan Walker.
And I'm David Evans. And in this series, we aim to improve your English language skills with the help of a drama about the lives of the staff and passengers of a budget airline in the city of Freeport.
And we'll start by reminding you what happened in the last programme. We heard that Kenjay arrived at the office with a new crate that was even bigger than the first one they received a few programmes ago. In this clip, Muzz, Kenjay and Officer Peterson are struggling to carry it into the office as Vinny watches.
My hand! It really hurts, Vinny. Don't just stand there, help!
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Not with my bad back.
Whoa, steady!
Hurry, please. Can you put it down?
Just a moment.
Nice and easy now. Gently.
Towards you a bit, officer. Good. And 1, 2, 3, down. Phew.
Well, thank you for your help, gentlemen.
Ow! My hand! My poor hand!
Oh, put some cold water on it, Muzz. You'll be fine.
So they get the new crate into the office safely, but Muzz complains about his hand because, as you may remember, he was bitten by a dog a couple of programmes ago. And in the next scene, we join Kenjay and Muzz in Kenjay's taxi. Muzz sounds very impatient because he says,
Oh, Kenjay, come on. Can't you go any faster? Don't you know a shortcut or something?
And by the way, a shortcut means a quicker way of getting to a place. Now, my first question for you today is, where are Muzz and Kenjay going? We also hear the two of them start to have an argument. Kenjay says,
Do you know something? The problem with you is...
And how does he finish the sentence? Muzz replies to him by saying,
I'll tell you what the problem with me is. The problem with me is...
And how does Muzz complete that sentence? Let's listen to the scene.
Oh, come on, Kenjay. Or can't you go any faster?
Hey, how can I go any faster? We're stuck in a traffic jam.
Don't you know any shortcuts or something? This is an emergency. I said you should have got me an ambulance.
Honestly, Muzz, this is not an emergency. It's a minor injury.
That's not what Officer Peterson thought. He took one look at my hand and said I should go straight to the hospital.
No, Muzz, that's not what he said. He said, if you were worried about it, perhaps you should see a doctor. It's not quite the same thing.
He only said that because he didn't want everyone to panic.
Oh, Muzz, don't be ridiculous. No one was going to panic. It's just a scratch.
Let's wait and see what the doctor says.
Hey, do you know something? The problem with you, Muzz, is you make too much fuss about everything. If you ever had a really serious problem, no one would believe you.
No, I'll tell you what the problem with me is. The problem with me is that no one ever listens to a word I say.
Anyway, here we are. Freeport City Hospital.
At last.
Excuse me. Which way is accident and emergency?
First on the left.
Thank you. Good. We'll have this all sorted out in no time.
So where are Kenjay and Muzz going?
To the hospital.
Yes, Muzz says that Officer Peterson told him he should see a doctor because of the dog bite.
He took one look at my hand and said I should go straight to the hospital.
Muzz wants to believe that he's got a serious injury, but Kenjay insists that it's not too bad. He tells Muzz,
The problem with you is you make too much fuss about everything.
He goes on,
If you ever had a really serious problem, no one would believe you.
And how does Muzz reply to that? He says,
The problem with me is that no one ever listens to a word I say.
And we'll find out what happens to them when they get to the hospital in the next programme.
You're listening to Obla Air, a Learn English radio series brought to you by the British Council.
In the next scene, we return to the Obla Air office and learn more about the breakout from Freeport City Jail. Officer Peterson is talking to Pavy. He says to her,
Now, miss, I want you to take a good look at this picture. This is the man we're looking for.
He's obviously talking about the criminal who has escaped. Pavy reads,
He is extremely dangerous and should not be approached by members of the public under any circumstances.
Under any circumstances means in any situation. Pavy says,
I wouldn't want to meet him on a dark night.
The officer says that he doesn't expect she will meet him, but what does he tell her to do if she has any suspicions about anyone? Pavy also tells the officer about a dog outside the office. Where has this dog come from? And one more question, what is Pavy going to do this evening? Let's find out. Here's the scene.
Now, miss, I want you to take a good look at this picture. This is the man we're looking for.
Wanted, Oswald Skinner.
Yes, also known as Ozzy.
35 years old, 1.8 metres tall, and heavily built with long, blonde hair and blue eyes.
And, as you can see here, he has a distinctive scar on his left cheek.
Ah, yes. He is extremely dangerous and should not be approached by members of the public under any circumstances. Well, officer, he looks like a really nasty piece of work. I wouldn't want to meet him on a dark night.
Well, I don't expect you will, miss. But if you have any suspicions about anyone who comes into this office, contact me immediately. You got my number?
Written down right here. Anyway, we've got our own guard dog now, so that escaped convict will think twice before he comes here.
Yes, I saw a dog outside. Is he new? I didn't notice him when I was here earlier.
Oh, it's a long story. We flew him to London yesterday, but when we got there, it turned out we didn't have the right documents, so we had to bring him all the way back again. I was left with him, of course, and I didn't know what to do, so I tied him up outside.
It's not the same dog that bit your colleague, is it?
Actually, yes. I can't wait to see the look on Muzz's face when he gets back and sees him outside. By the way, shouldn't he be back from the hospital by now?
Well, yes, I suppose he should. He went several hours ago. Oh, they're probably busy this evening. I expect he'll be back any minute.
Anyway, officer, there's no need for you to stay any longer. I've got a bit of work to do here, but I'll be fine by myself.
Well, if you're sure you'll be okay, miss.
Oh, don't worry about me, officer. I've got Vicious to look after me.
Vicious?
The guard dog. It's his name.
Oh, I see. Most appropriate, I'm sure. But even so, don't take any chances. Make sure you lock all the doors and all the windows. Remember, there's an extremely dangerous criminal at large in Freeport at the moment.
Don't worry, officer. I will.
Good night then, miss.
Good night, officer.
So what does Officer Peterson tell Pavy to do if she has any suspicions about anybody? He says,
If you have any suspicions about anyone who comes into this office, contact me immediately.
and what does Pavy tell him about the dog outside the office? She says,
We flew him to London yesterday, but when we got there, it turned out we didn't have the right documents, so we had to bring him all the way back again.
So she's talking about Vicious the dog, the one who bit Muzz. She goes on.
I was left with him, of course, and I didn't know what to do, so I tied him up outside.
And what about my final question? What is Pavy going to do this evening? She says,
I've got a bit of work to do here, but I'll be fine by myself.
The officer tells her to make sure she locks all the doors and windows because of the dangerous escaped criminal. But Pavy tells him she isn't worried, especially as she's now got Vicious the dog to guard her. This is Obla Air, a Learn English radio series brought to you by the British Council. And don't forget that you can find more resources to help you learn English at learnenglish.britishcouncil.org.
That's learnenglish.britishcouncil.org.
But now let's remind you of some of the key moments in the first half of our Obla Air story, The Crate.
In the first programme, we heard Vinny talk about his new idea for Obla Air, the air freight business.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is Obla Air's new business venture.
Really?
Oh, yes. Do you know what our biggest problem has always been? I'll tell you. Too many empty seats. Most of the time the plane's half empty. And wasted space means wasted money. But think about it for a moment. It's not just people who travel, is it? These days, everything is on the move. It's a global village. So, I've set up a little air freight business.
Air freight?
Yes, to move high-value articles between Freeport and London. Not just any old things, you understand. Luxury goods, works of art, that type of thing. There's plenty of money to be made here, believe me.
Do you know something, Vinny? That is actually quite a good idea, isn't it, Kenji?
In the next programme, we learnt that Obla Air's first air freight job was to fly a crate to London which contained a guard dog called Vicious. And when the police asked for the flight to be delayed, Vinny told Muzz to get him out of the crate and take him for a walk.
Now, just get that crate open, will you?
All right. Hello, boy.
Look at him. He's massive.
Hello, Vicious. Pavy, can you get him some food and a bowl of water?
Yeah, I'm sure we can find something.
And, Muzz, yeah? While she's doing that, perhaps you could take him out for a nice little walk.
Oh, no. You've got to be kidding.
But unfortunately, when it was time to put the dog back in the crate, he didn't want to go in, and he bit Muzz.
Come on, Vicious. There's a good dog. Come on. He doesn't want to come, Vinny.
Oh, all right. Oh, come on, everybody. Let's give him a hand.
Come on. That was a good dog.
Ow! Get off me! Oh, that's it. Close it, close it. Give me a hammer, Pavy.
There you go.
Oh, thanks. Done it. Ow!
Well, another satisfied customer.
Yeah. Ow! Well, let's hope they're not all like that.
Ow! Ow! Well, look at that. Look at that, everybody. He's bitten me.
Let me see.
And last time we found out more about why Obla Air's flight was delayed. There had been a breakout from Freeport City Jail.
Now, as you may have heard, yesterday evening there was a breakout from Freeport City Jail.
Really?
Yes, a number of extremely dangerous criminals managed to escape through a tunnel they had dug underneath the Central Market.
Ah, so that's why I heard a siren. Well, it all makes sense now.
Now, although the Freeport Police Department has successfully recaptured 3 of the men, one of them remains at large. And we have reason to believe he may try to leave the country by air. Specifically, by Obla Air.
No. So that's why you delayed the flight last night.
But that's all for today. You've been listening to Obla Air, a Learn English radio series, brought to you by the British Council. And remember, you can find more resources to help you learn English at learnenglish.britishcouncil.org. Until next time, from David Evans and me, Joan Walker.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.